Hey friends, it's Jeremiah Gilreath with the Pell City Chamber of Commerce, and this evening we are doing our 11th part of a 12-part series with the Chamber Connection, and we have selected 3 of the Pell City Council men to be a part of this interview tonight. And as you know, we interviewed Ivy and Jay last month, and so you 3 guys are left, and
all right.
we appreciate you coming in tonight to talk to us.
Glad to do it.
Answer some questions for the city of Pell City.
Absolutely.
And those that might be watching. So to my far left is Judd Alverson, and then we have Jason Mitcham and Blaine Henderson. So guys, if you don't mind, basically introduce yourselves, tell who you are and what district you serve in, maybe a little bit about yourself.
Okay. Judd Alverson. I represent District 5. Lived in Pell City most all of my life. Got involved with the city. Ran for the position that I currently hold in 2016, and then ran again in 2020. So have a lovely wife, Lindsay Alverson. Have 2 daughters, Amelia and Caroline, 14 and 11. Work at Liberty Mortgage. Been there for 22 years. Graduated from Jacksonville State. Graduated from Pell City High School.
Awesome. Jason.
All right. My name is Jason Mitcham. I too have lived here almost all of my life. I represent District 4, which is also the district that I grew up in. Graduate from Pell City High School. I work at the Anderson Army Depot. I've been there for 17 years. I have a beautiful wife, Charity, 3 children, Jace, Piper, and Cooper. And the Sprightly girls, we get mad if I didn't say it, but Haley and Mac as well. Ran in 2016 for the first time, and ran again in 2020, and thoroughly enjoy what we're doing.
Blaine Henderson, I represent District 3. My wife Laurie, we have 3 kids together, Garrett, Miles, and Lila. I too ran in 2016 and then again in 2020. Work at Henderson's Builder Supply right here in town. Graduated Pell City High School, then Auburn University. Been here most all of my life as well.
All right, good deal, guys. Now, tell each, well, I should have asked you this before, but if you will, go back and say what made you decide to run for city council. Like, what did you see, or what did you have, what gave you the idea to run? Because, I mean, a lot of people may think that they want to run or don't know that they need to run. Just give them an idea of what made you decide to run.
You want me to go first?
Yeah, you can go first.
So, it was a combination of a couple of things. I had some people approach me a year or 2 before the 16 election and ask if I would be interested, ask if I would consider it. I also had some of those desires, and so I started talking to a lot of people to get, just their feeling about me sort of considering tossing my hat into the ring. Different people in the community, different people, mostly people that live in my district, just, what they may or may not want to see change within the district or improvements, but also citywide. And, sort of, it was a long sort of thought process, but ultimately, decided to do it. But I had a lot of support, sort of organic support already built in before I announced, and when I did, it worked out pretty well. So,
Well, unlike Judd, I wasn't approached by anyone, and I had talked about running for a number of years. And you can ask Charity; she'll tell you it took me 4.5 years to convince her to even let me talk about it outside the confines of our own house. But once I did, as Judd said, kind of the organic support kind of grew from our district. And like I said, I'm very happy to say that I represent the district I grew up in. So the people that are in my district, I have literally known all my life.
Yeah.
So the support just grew. And I did it because there were just some things that I wanted to see happen in Pell City that I didn't think were happening or weren't happening fast enough, or maybe things going in the direction I thought I wanted to see them go. And like I said, it just kind of grew from talking about it around the dinner table to announcing the run and having run twice now.
Same here, having 3 small children, having grown up here all my life, I just wanted to see Pell City do as good as it could with the available resources. Also, you know, being a small businessman here in town, you know, you just have concerns of the way you've seen things run, and not necessarily that I think I could do them any better, but I just wanted to see the reason some of the decisions were getting made.
Yeah, absolutely. So, and this is not a question that any one of you can answer, but what does the city council do? For somebody that may not know, what is your job? What do you have to do, not only at a meeting, but prior to meetings, or how does that work?
At its core, I think, you know, what we are and what we should be is the voice of the people that we represent. So I represent District 5. I was in a meeting with the city manager for a half hour before I came in here to talk about a concern of one of the people that lives in my district. So at its core, we represent the people who elected us here. So what their concerns are, whatever's on their mind, whatever they want to see improved, whatever, just whatever concerns they have, we're their voice.
Right.
Beyond that, on a bigger scale, that's obviously what gets you in the position that you're in. But on a bigger scale, you know, just collectively as a body, just try and make the best decisions you can for the city. You know, ultimately, that's what we're here for. And sometimes they're tough decisions, sometimes they're no-brainers. But, you know, on a small scale, represent the people who voted you into the position that you are in. On a larger scale, just try and make the best decisions you can to move this city forward.
Right.
And to add to that, you know, Judge talked about, and he's 100% correct, we are the mouthpiece for the people in our district. I think I can speak for these two guys as well. Having grown up in Pell City and everybody knowing who you are,
Yes.
there really aren't district lines when it comes to
No.
the constituents. I mean, I've got people in District 5 that will call me, I've got people in District 3 that call me. And I know they've been in the same way. So having grown up here and people know who we all are, though we represent a district, those district lines completely disappear when it comes to representation of the city.
They do. That's a good point.
Yeah, and I think it's also great that you all have different occupations.
Yep.
Nobody does the same thing. Blaine's in retail, so to speak. You're in government work. You're in a service industry.
Yep.
Jay is a retiree.
Yeah.
Ivy's in social work.
Yeah.
So you all can collectively put your occupations into effect or into principle of what you do in the city.
That is a great point.
And that really helps with some of the decisions we have to make, because you've got so many different viewpoints. Somebody can throw up something that all of a sudden everybody's like, you know, I didn't even think about it like that.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
And it helps a lot.
Anytime we're talking about anything that has to do with development, neighborhoods, construction, just anything that has to do commercial, residential, Blaine he's got it. He knows it. That's what he does for a living. I don't even want to call it an area of expertise, but I deal with numbers. I deal in finance.
Right.
So it's an easy language for me to speak whenever we're talking about money and spending the city's money and whether or not we're going to the bond market, whether or not we're going to finance something. Those are easy things for me to discuss and provide what little information I can. So yes, the skill sets that we take to work with us every day, 8 to 5s, oftentimes do translate into what we try and do for the city.
Right. So what is some of the hardest things that you have to debate or vote on as a group?
I would say one of the things that was tough, it was right after we all got elected in 2016. I believe it was winter of 2017. It was a water rate increase,
Yeah.
water and sewer rate increase.
That was very hard.
And it was tough because it's something that needed to be done. It should have been done 10 years before that.
Yeah.
But it's tough because it affects everybody in the city.
Yeah.
Right.
You know, and you've got to understand that for some people, $15 a month is a big deal. For other people, they won't even notice their bill went up. And, you know, you're making a decision that affects everybody, not just a group here or a group there. And that's, it's tough. I mean, you don't wanna do it, but you realize that for the benefit of the city, it has to be done.
That transcends, as Jason's already pointed out, district lines. And that's to the point I was trying to make a while ago. Represent the people in your district, but then, as Blaine just said, try and make the best decisions you can to push the city forward. There would have been a severe cost of inaction had we not done that. We were getting close to a 7-figure subsidy of the water department out of the general fund to keep, you know, it functional. So we had to raise rates and through a modest increase in rates and then obviously a ton of growth, we just about, if not turned that utility department completely around. It is somewhat satisfying to see that a tough decision, you know, that we had to make, you know, has resulted in that part of the city's, you know, books or that department is now right-sized. And that's nothing but good for everyone. That means we can invest in infrastructure. We can spend money to improve. I mean, that it's good for everyone. It's not just us. It's good for everyone so that we can reinvest those dollars.
Right. We're talking about dollars, the budget.
Yeah.
How does the city design or plan a budget for the coming year?
So it starts with the city manager, and everybody knows Brian, and Brian does an amazing job. But so our fiscal year starts October 1 and ends September 30th. So as early as July, Brian has budget meetings internally with the department heads. So he'll have obviously multiple meetings because there are multiple department heads. And so those department heads, I'm pretty sure I'm right on this, are tasked in advance of those meetings with Brian, you know, get your budget ready so we can sit down and look at it for the coming up, the new fiscal year. That'll be, you know, if we're having a meeting in July, it'll be there in, you know, a couple of months, 3 months. So we have internal department head meetings with the city manager, and then once those are done, they present budgets to us as a council and of course the mayor. Those meetings usually start in August or September, and then in those meetings with those department heads and us as a body, as well as the mayor, we're I guess, if you will, asking questions of whether it's the police chief, the fire chief, whoever, Greg, doesn't matter. We're asking questions of them about their budget and what they are or are not going to spend money on, and then probably from there, Miss Terry, who is the CFO for the city, and Brian, you know, finalize the budget, present it back to us, and it will get approved usually in the first or second meeting in September, and then that way it's approved and ready to go October 1.
Okay. All right. Let me ask you, Jason, let me ask you this. What are some of the important challenges that the community or Pell City as a city is facing?
It's a good question.
I know it's a tough question.
It is.
It is.
So, along with being on the council, I also sit on, I'm the council representation on the planning commission. So, this is a good question because I have to take more heat for planning commission stuff than I do for council stuff.
Yes, he
sometimes.
does.
I think the number one thing we're looking at from both a residential and commercial standpoint is growth for the city. But not just growth at a whim, but calculated and measured growth and regulated growth so that, you know, we don't just have this boom and infrastructure can't handle it. We want growth, we want the right kind of growth.
Yeah.
And I think it's a very fine line to walk, and it's a tough road to hoe. I mean, it really is.
Yeah.
But I think that's one of the biggest challenges we have is growing, but growing the right way.
Growing the way.
Not growth for the sake of growth.
That's right, and growing so that we can look back on it in 5 years, 10 years, 20 years and say those were the right decisions,
Right.
or hey, look at what we've got, and this is an eyesore now. You know, so he does an amazing job in that body, and I do not wish that on anyone, because that's where the fireworks are.
Yeah.
It's planning commission.
So Blaine, how does somebody get to be in front of the city council as far as if they have something they wanna bring up or address or situation or ask, approval for something? How does that?
It's a very simple process. Make a call up here to City Hall, or come by, either way. Very simple form you fill out. I would advise talking to someone here before that, and make sure that, you know, it does need to come before council. Depending on what the issue is, it could need to go to the planning commission first, which then they would send it to the council. You know, other things, can be resolved just from the revenue department. You know, if it's a water, sewer, garbage issue, that kind of thing. But it's very simple. I mean, it's a one page, essentially, you know, you state your name, address, phone number, contact information, and the reason you would like to address the council.
To Blaine's point, a lot of times they'll find out that whatever their issue is, it's obviously a quicker action if we can get it resolved before a meeting that takes place the second Monday or the fourth Monday of every month. We can get them, you know, resolve whatever their issue is before they ever even have to get on an agenda, you know, but certainly if they have to, then.
Yeah, and if it's something that can be solved between Brian and our ladies across the hall, they'll take care of it.
Whether it's in the street department, whether it's in the revenue department, you know, the water, whatever. I mean, we do anything and everything we can to help somebody avoid having to get on the agenda, because there's time involved with that.
Right.
But, you know, ultimately, if that's what's necessary, it's an easy process, like Blaine's already said.
Right. Now, this is not in my notes. It's something that came to me as I'm sitting here listening to you guys talk. But what do you think are some of the best qualities that the city of Pell City has to offer not only residents but retail and manufacturing or commercial? What do you think some of those things are?
So I'll go first. From a residential standpoint,
Okay.
As we've all said, we all grew up here. We've all got young kids, older kids. So to me, what would bring me here as a family of 5 is community. And you get that sense whether you're at the ball field, you're at the school, you know, basketball game, football game, or you're walking through Home Depot. I mean, there's always a familiar face, and to me, that's something you can't put a price tag on. And you know, I was asked, you know, what do you consider quality of life? And to me, it's a friendly face, it's a familiar face. So I think from a residential standpoint, that would be something that would draw me here.
Yeah, we've got a very healthy sort of industrial complex with many different businesses, employ a lot of people. I think Jason is right. This is Pell City's a unique place to live. I am happy to call Pell City home, and have, other than a brief 2 years when my wife and I lived in Birmingham while she was finishing nursing school. You know, we could have stayed in Birmingham, but we chose to, you know, to put our roots down out here. You know, I'm not saying this because I'm elected or, you know, whatever. I mean, I have gotten to see a lot on this side of the fence, and the city is very lucky to have some of the most amazing people, you know, working from the city manager to the department heads. I mean, we really and truly have some amazing people that work above and beyond to push this city as much as they possibly can. And to me, to serve alongside them and to help make their life better, and you know, there's a ton of satisfaction in that, because I genuinely love the people who work for this city, and I love the people in this city. Like Jason said, it's a great community.
They hit it on the head. I mean, the residential growth has been steady over the years. It's not stagnant, which is a good sign, which in turn for commercial, or retail, I mean, that lets them know that, hey, people wanna live here. You know, it's a good place, there's money to be made if people are continuing to move into an area. Also, we have a good school system. Community, you know, recently showed a lot of support for it. That's another
great.
good.
Yeah.
I mean, that's another, great motivator for not just somebody wanting to live here, but for businesses wanting to locate here. So right now, I mean, Pell City really has a lot of good going for it.
So it's an amazing Parks and Rec facility down there from the Civic Center all the way out into the park, all the way out or down to the baseball fields. That's a tremendous asset that this city has, and we're never afraid to continue to reinvest in that asset because of how great it is. And to Blaine's point, we have an amazing school system. All three of us here have either currently have or have had someone in their family employed at the school system. All of our children are in that school system. And to Blaine's point, you know, the city really got behind the referendum and pushed that across the goal line, and along with, you know, the people in the county. So, you know, we're super excited for them. I think it does show, you know, potential people, businesses, you know, that want to relocate, that, you know, hey, they're serious about education, and that's a benefit to everyone. And I, you know, you see new businesses popping up. You see what's about to take place. I'm not sure when, but probably, you know, in the next week, month. You know, the new Starbucks location up there by McSweeney's dealership, and I hope that we've got some more exciting news, you know, around the corner for more development. So, yeah.
And I think one other thing, I guess, since we all three have lived here all our lives, it's one of the things that you almost just take for granted, but it's the lake. I mean, whether you live on it or not, with the Lakeside Park and several other areas, I mean, you don't have to live on the lake to be able to take advantage of it. And, I mean, that's a big draw.
It's a very, and there are many times I'll go to Publix on a Saturday or a Sunday in the middle of the summer and have the tags in the parking lot as I'm going into Publix or any grocery store or coming out of Publix. And you see a lot of 1 tags, you see a lot of 58 tags. I mean, there are people that come to this community to enjoy what Blaine said, to enjoy the lake.
Yeah,
It's a big draw.
That's the easy answer.
It's a big draw.
Yeah.
It's
But
huge.
it's-
Like I
but
said,
it's not-
but it's ours.
We all three glossed right over it.
Well, and it gives us,
Well,
as Judd alluded to, it gives us a Parks and Rec facility that's unparalleled.
That's it. It's
Yeah.
second to
You
none.
can't find that anywhere else in the state.
It is a beautiful facility.
All right, guys. Well, tell the viewers how they get in contact with you.
For me, easily call City Hall anytime. The staff up here can get in touch with me. This is embarrassing. I'm pretty sure my email address isjalverson@cityofpellcity.net.
That's it.
Yeah, jalverson@cityofpellcity.net, and that's obviously probably the easiest way beyond calling City Hall and leaving a message.
Same, call City Hall. I think mine is J Mitcham, of course. And I can give you my cell phone number because it's all over my social media pages. Between my political page, my personal page, and my not-for-profit Equipped to Play page. So 205-753-1046. And trust me, it rains all the time. So it's not a problem.
Oh, yeah.
I'm the same as them. Mine is B Henderson at cityofpellcity.net.
Okay, awesome. Any last thoughts before we go? Something might have come across your mind when we're talking? Or?
No. Thank you for your time.
Thanks.
I
Appreciate it.
I will say this, it is sort of unique. We are all pretty close in age. In 2016, I had no idea he was running. He had no idea I was running. He had no idea he was running, and then literally all of us sort of put ourselves out into the public and said, hey, please give us an opportunity. Will you vote for us? But it was pretty surreal to. I didn't know you were running. When did you decide? Why didn't you call me? I love it. So that was pretty unique back in 2016. I won't. It is genuinely it's an honor to serve, and I know I can speak for the other two that are not in here, and I can speak for the mayor, and I can speak for them as well. Of course, they can speak for themselves. I know that their heart is in the right place. I know that they have a strong desire to serve, and when you are working with a group like this, as well as the other two that are on council that are not here, as well as the mayor, it makes things a lot easier. I mean, nobody's perfect, but as an elected body, we get along amazingly well, and is it perfect? No. Have we had our moments? Yes. But, everybody has seen it on the news and different factions of insert city name, getting very ugly, and we've thankfully been able to avoid that, and as a consequence, it's been pretty harmonious. So
Absolutely.
Well, guys, I do appreciate your time, and like I said, we talked to Ivy and Jay last month, and you three were the last of the city council to speak with, and we appreciate your time.
Okay.
And we are glad that
We appreciate the chamber.
we appreciate the chamber, and congratulations to you.
For those that don't know, Miss Denise is behind the camera, and she is our Citizen of the Year for
Absolutely. Very deserving.
21. Absolutely.
Yes.
Yes. So.
Very deserving.
Well, guys, we appreciate your time. We hope you've enjoyed it. We hope you learned something, and we'll see you again the end of next month for our last chamber connection. Okay. Thank you, guys.
Thank you.
Thank you.